Hey, boys and girls, do you remember how last time we talked, Gordy was coming through that real scary place in the lost city of Demona where everything was like dead and icky, and he was coming along, and then he saw off in the distance, he saw dubious pathfinder coming, and he thought, if I follow him, then maybe I'll be able to find Agent Taylor. So remember, dubious pathfinder went behind a big rock, and Gordy thought he was back there and he was waiting to get him. And so he waited and he waited, and he didn't come out, and he didn't come out, and he was like, oh man, where is he? So then he snuck around, remember, and he went in, and he saw like a hole. It looked like it had been a hole of a cave or something. So he slowly went in, and he knew that dubious pathfinder could be on the other side of him, on the other side of the hole, waiting to get him. So he slowly looked in, and it went to a bigger place. So he went through to the bigger place, and then there was kind of like an opening that he could look in, and he was shocked. He looked in, and it was like a big place, like a big mining place there. So he didn't see anybody around, so he slowly opened the door, and he walked in, and he looked, and he saw that it wasn't just like an old mine shaft the way it used to be, There was like electricity, and there was like air coming in, being brought into the place where they could breathe and everything. And he thought, I wonder if this is where they're hiding Agent Taylor. And so then he looked around, and it was like to where he could hide, or where he could move forward. But he knew there was like this one big hallway, and he knew that if he went down there that he was going to run into somebody and it wouldn't be good. So he looked around and was like, is there some other way that I could get there? And so he was looking, and he was looking, and he was looking, and then he saw where the air was being pumped in, and it was pumped up vents. And then the air up above, shot in over the area that he was. And he thought, I wonder if I get in there, if I can crawl up to where it is that Agent Taylor is, and maybe I can find him that way. So he saw the opening to a vent, and there was like a round thing there, and he pulled it off. And there was room for him, so he stepped in, and he pulled it shut, and all of a sudden, it just felt like it closed in all around him. And he remembered when he was a little boy, and how the chameleon had hidden him, had locked him in that tiny locker, and fear started coming up in him, and he started getting, couldn't hardly breathe, and he's like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to try something. I'm gonna have to get out of here. And he was breathing, and then he heard his mom's voice, what she said. She said, when you don't know what to do, and you can't figure it out for yourself, put your trust in God, and He will show you what to do. And so he just stopped, and he says to himself, God, I know you're with me. And he started taking deep breaths in and out. And then he started calming down again. It was like, okay, I can do this. Agent Taylor needs me. So anyway, the shaft went straight up, and then it went out across. So he thought, I can do this. So he started crawling very slowly, bracing with his legs and his hands, and going up. I can do this. With God's help, I can do this. And inside he was praying. He was praying in the Spirit. God, you can help me. Praying in the Spirit. And then he got to the top where the corner was. And then it kind of went like this. And so he crawled up over. And when he looked down, he saw like a big pathway down there. And he saw a few places where light came up. And he thought, those must be the vents, and that must be where the air goes down into the rooms. So maybe I can find Agent Taylor. So he started crawling very slowly, very slowly, and then he thought he heard the sound of voices. So he went very slowly, very slowly, very slowly, and then a chill filled his heart. He recognized the voice. Do you know who it was? Yeah, it was the chameleon. And he heard him say, "All right, what did you do with Gordy Googleberry?" And then he heard the other voice, and it was leader of the crooked path, dubious pathfinder, that guy, that silly, mean guy. And he said, "You don't have to worry about Gordy Googleberry anymore. He's in the middle of the jungle, and I left him there with no protection. Probably the big snakes have already killed him and are trying to eat him, and the birds are coming down and trying to eat his flesh and blood. Don't worry about him. Let's do what we got to do." And he and the chameleon started laughing. Gordy was like, "Oh, you don't know." And so he was just sitting very still up there. So then the chameleon said, "Well," he said, "there's only one thing left to do. Let's go take care of Agent Taylor. We're going to kill him off. We'll get the chrysolite, the Christophase. We'll get it. And then we'll go and we'll have all the power we need to rule the world." And he just laughed and laughed and laughed again. And then, so he said to Doobie's Pathfinder, he said, "You go and you take care of Agent Taylor once and for all. And then we're on our way." So Doobie's Pathfinder left the room, and Gordy sat very still thinking, "Oh my gosh, I've got to go find Agent Taylor quickly, quickly, quickly." So, and he noticed that before Chameleon left, he looked up towards the vent and then looked down and walked out. And Gordy thought, nah, he couldn't see me because there's no light up here and there's light down there, so you wouldn't be able to see me. So he thought, I see the next light up to the room. Maybe that's Agent Taylor's room. I've got to get him before they take care of him. So he started crawling slowly, 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 slowly. And as he went and he got closer to the room, he heard this voice. It was Agent Taylor's voice. And he heard this voice say, "God of Gordy Googleberry. Usually this is when Gordy talks to you. I think that I'm in a really bad place right now. And I think that I need somebody to come help me. Could you please send somebody to help me? If you're really real, the God of Gordy Googleberry. I mean, when he gets in big trouble like this is when he always talks to you. So here I am." And so Gordy said very quietly, Taylor, it's me." And Taylor jumped up and he went, "Whoa, is that you, the God of Gordy Googleberry? Is that you? Wow, you are really fast." And then Gordy whispered again because he didn't want his voice to go back where they could hear him. And he went, "Taylor, Agent Taylor, it's me, Gordy." And so Agent Taylor goes, "Wow, that does kind of sound like my friend Gordy Googleberry's voice." So he walked around the room looking up. And then he saw the vent. He said, I see you, Gordy Googleberry. You're here. And Gordy goes, "Yeah, Taylor." And they're on their way to wipe you out. Is there some way that we can open this vent and get you out of here? And Taylor says, yes, we can. And so he went over, and there was a table, and it had the kitchen utensils that he ate his food, and there was a little knife. And so he pulled the table over, so he's underneath the vent, and he climbed up on top, and he started unscrewing the screws with the table knife. Got out one, choop. Then there's one up here, two. One over here, 3, 4. Okay, Gordy, he said, give it a little push now. So Gordy just pushed it a little bit, and the vent came out. And so Taylor was getting ready to crawl up and be up there, and with him where they could escape. And they started to hear the key in the door. And Gordy goes, oh my gosh. So quick, they stuck the vent back up. Taylor jumped down, moved the table, went over, and just as the door opened, and Gordy was up there going, God, please help, please help. And so here came in dubious Pathfinder. And he said, come on, Taylor, you're going with me. We're taking care of you once and for all. And so anyway, he took him out. He put the gun in his back, and he took him out the door. And they went, shut the door. And so Gordy was like, what do I do? Do I try to go down some more vents and maybe find him there? Or what's the best thing? And he thought, nope, I'm just going to have to go down. So he pushed the vent and it hit down on the floor. And he thought, he waited to see if anybody came. Nobody did. So he worked his way and he got down. And he went to the door and he opened it very quietly. And he peeked out, looked this way, and he 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 thought, which way should I go? Where would be the place that they would probably take him? And then he thought, I'm going to go back to the room where Chameleon and them were, and Dubious Pathfinder, maybe they took him there. So he took off to the left, and he started walking, and all of a sudden he felt something in his back, and he heard, ha, 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 that horrible voice. It was the Chameleon. And he said, did you think, Gordy Googleberry, that I would let you live? That I wouldn't see you up in the vent? I know everything. And not only are we going to take care of Agent Taylor, but we are going to take care of you. No more Agent Taylor. No more Gordy Googleberry. What a wonderful world this will be. Boys and girls, is this the end of Gordy Googleberry? Can the Chameleon really, really win? To find out, you have to come back next week for the continuing story of Gordy Googleberry.